and those technologies of production which permit us to produce, transform, or manipulate things. So you see what I'm trying to say? There's this whole notion of the kind of Foucauldian notion of the care of the self, which he separates from a whole bunch of technologies which he talks about as being coalesced around the idea that they help to, that these technologies are for the manipulation of things. Okay? So for me, that's precisely where it is that I want to investigate. This difference between selves and things, right? Like, have you ever thought about how could Thomas Jefferson do that shit? No, have you ever asked yourself this question? Well, one way to think about it is that he's got this massive apparatus of what Foucault would call self-care, right? He's very much interested in what I think will maybe like this great philosopher Stanley Cavell would call a kind of moral perfectibility. I mean, if you read the Declaration of Independence, which is good stuff, or the Notes on the State of Virginia, some of which is good, or the statutes for religious freedom in Virginia, you clearly see the work of an extraordinarily intelligent person who's interested in trying to build up apparatuses that would make it possible for selves to care for themselves on a moral level, right? And to actually be able to achieve a certain kind of moral success in their actions, okay? And then at the same time, you know, he takes a 15-year-old girl who happens to look just like his former wife who passed away because she was his wife's sister, right? And essentially, y'all know the story. How could, you know, and he owns people, right? And he wasn't like, you know, that kind of kind, enlightened kind of master, you know? He was a spin, you know, he liked good wine, he liked Italian stuff. His plantation didn't really work properly. It didn't make as nearly enough money as he needed to have to, you know, actually afford his expensive habits. And the people who, have you ever been to Monticello? Anybody? Right? And you see those like really nice daughters of the American Revolution, and they take you on a tour and they say, yeah, and in 1773, Mr. Jefferson leveled off the top of the hill. No, he didn't. He didn't level off. You understand? So you say, how can you do that? And this is what I think Foucault is interested in trying to delineate. Certain technology, and he uses the term technologies, that allow people to work on and to perfect themselves. Okay? And then other technologies which allow people to manipulate things. Okay? And in this case, with Jefferson, he was an inventive person. He created like that cool like writing machine, you know, where you could like copy letters as he was writing them out at the same time. And he also manipulated these things called the Hemmingses, right? Which were his sons, you know, who made cool things for him in words. But y'all understand. Okay? So that's the dilemma, right? How to think through this relationship between how it is that selves situate themselves in relation to themselves, and how it is that selves situate themselves in relation to things, which becomes an especially ticklish problem when many of the things that they are situating themselves in relation to can also be called persons. Okay. And a lot of times, obviously, this distinction between thing and self is playing itself out along lines of sexual difference and racial difference, and okay. There you have it. Black studies